I mean, you're dropping some coin.
Yeah, it was out of my league. So, yeah.
Let's drive down to the Rose Bowl. It's out of my league.
Once
Yeah,
in a lifetime
that's
thing,
not
it's
out of
never
your
gonna
league.
happen again.
Yeah.
Promise
That's
it's
out of my league.
I guarantee it's not.
Got the whole family going down
Should
there.
have, yeah, you just rubbing salt in that wound. Like, that was not money well spent. So.
It was fun all
It
the
was
way
fun.
down.
It was fun. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah. All right, it's time to start. Are we ready, Ms. Maragoni? All right. Okay, 6 o'clock. We'd like to welcome everyone to our Riverdale City Council meeting for Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Please let the record show that all members of the City Council are present, as well as members of the city staff and members of the public. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilor Stevens.
Please repeat after me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll go ahead and offer our invocation tonight. Our most kind and gracious Father in heaven, we're grateful as we meet before Thee this evening in a city council meeting. Grateful for the circumstances under which we meet, that we have the freedom to govern ourselves and to make decisions and do things that we see fit. We're grateful for the time of abundance that we live in and the many blessings that we all enjoy in this country and in this city. At this time, we ask a blessing upon the members of the City Council, that they might make decisions that will be well thought out and that will benefit the residents and city employees and also the businesses in our city. We ask that they might have wisdom and forethought, that they might be able to see the consequences of the decisions that they are going to make tonight. We also ask a blessing upon the first responders and all the city employees in our city, that they might be watched over and protected as they go about and do their duties in the city. We ask a blessing upon the residents of our city as well, that they might be protected and that any of them that are struggling might find comfort and that they might have the things that they need. And we offer this prayer in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we now have time for public comment. This is an opportunity to address the council if you're not on the agenda. No action will be taken during the public comment time. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move on to presentations and reports. I do not have anything for the mayor's report. It's been kind of slow with the holiday season. Haven't really had a lot of meetings. And so we'll move on to City Council assignment reports. Does the City Council have anything to report from their various assignments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to consent items. The only consent item is number 1, consideration to approve the meeting minutes from the December 6th, 2022 council work session and the December 6th, 2022 council meeting. Are there any corrections or changes to these minutes? Seeing none, a motion to approve them would be in order.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Maragoni, will you poll the council, please? What? Okay, we don't usually poll on the consent items. All right.
Resolution.
Okay. Well, not just the resolutions. All the action
Good
items
answer.
will do it. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or sorry, all in favor say yes. We skipped a meeting. I'm all out of practice. Okay.
Rebels.
Any opposed say no. All right, that passes unanimously. Okay, we'll move on to action items. Number 1, consideration of adopting a meeting schedule for 2023. Mr. Brooks.
It's just something we're supposed to do yearly. So Michelle's gone through and picked out the dates that we'd normally have our meetings on the first and third Tuesdays. I would just point out to you, as I did in the previous meeting, July 5th is just one day after the 4th. We'll just play that one by ear as it gets closer. And then in November, when we generally do have that one, just because there's a good chance we might not have another one in December, but we'll see as those get closer. But those would be the normal dates we would have. So I would just ask that you approve that, and we'll post that so that we're complying with our obligations.
And are we looking for a consensus? Or
Yeah,
like
I think you just take consensus on that. We're
are
good.
there any concerns or discussion on that schedule for next year? Okay, can we get a consensus if everybody's okay with that to approve it? That looks like it is. Everybody's in favor of that, so thank you. Right, number 2, consideration of resolution 2023-01 for approval of a third addendum to a development agreement for the property located at 5000 South Weber Drive, Riverdale, Utah, as submitted by Bach Land and Development. Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. As I mentioned in the work session and also in your packet there, this is the third addendum on the Bach Land and Development. Now, they haven't all been boxed. That first one was Unity, I believe. It started this whole thing out. Some of you who have been here for a long time would have remembered that one. And then we've done a more recent one. I don't remember when that was, just last summer, I believe, which would have been the second one. And now the third one is what's before you tonight. In Mike's packet, I had him do up, one of those has 2 different colors. You got the regular black, which would outline the original agreement. The blue would be the changes that we brought in the second time, and the only one that's before you tonight's the red, which is discussing all the water issues. So some of that's been struck, and then additional language added into there. It's number 10, project water and water dedication. This is just to comply with our statute that requires them to bring water with them, or that if we are able to get this through Weber Basin, that we would proceed that way. So they're just complying with that so that they know they've got the water and that they've got enough. It's the chicken and the egg thing. They've got the egg here, now they can proceed forward. So they just want to make sure they've got water where you think that they're good for that. Again, this one will fall under that the next tier, the tier 4, which we won't know until February when the Weber Basin Board meets. But at least there is water, at least the impression we've got from them previously, there'd be plenty there for this. And so we purchase that and then turn around and they buy it from us. So, and then that way we're not taking from our current stores or our current residents or anything like that. So any questions on that? We do have a representative from Bach Homes here tonight if you want to ask any questions, but that's really the gist of the whole third addendum there.
Councilor Arnold.
Move to approve resolution 2023-01 as stated within the packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. Ms. Maragona, will you poll the council?
Yes.
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 Okay. That passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll now move on to item number 3, consideration of resolution 2023-02 for approval of water contract between Riverdale City and Weber Basin Water Conservancy District. Mr. Brooks.
This is the big daddy of all of them, just like the Rose Bowl used to be, Braid. This is the one, at least before yesterday.
Yeah, that was funny.
This is our agreement with Weber Basin that they've sent to us. Sean and I have been going back and forth on this one with Darren Hess from Weber Basin. We think we're at a point where we're ready to move forward, and this is just their commitment with us that they'll provide this water for us as we need it. So if you have any questions on that, Sean's here and can answer all those, and I think we're good to go. This was primarily drafted by them, and then we just added in tweaks that we needed and stuff. So it's a good deal. It kind of saved us big time. So we're pretty relieved to have this. This is going to be a big deal. I think even on that February meeting, if that's not in conflict with us, I'll probably go out to that one and just express our appreciation to them, because they've been a big help for us. They've been really, really good and bending over backwards for us, trying to help us out through this. So we appreciate Weber Basin helping us. But we've got to get this in place before we can do any of it. So.
Any questions or comments, Councilor Arnold?
A few years ago, we did a 25-year agreement. Was that the treating of our water? Like when we had basically the ditch water? So
that was to do, so we're still trying to do some of that. Some of that was like the Davis Weber Canal water. We're still trying to change that bench water canal, the Riverdale Bench Canal. The state still has not approved our transfer of that out of the ditch so we can treat it. That's been going on for 2.5 years with the state, but that's what that was. It has the O&M fees on it like this one does, like we will pay for them to treat it and do that type of thing every year going forward. But we didn't have a purchase on that one per se. As far as buying the water, we already owned it.
Okay.
And it was a 50-year, not 25.
I can't remember the number off the top.
Good catch, Bart.
Okay, Council Arnold.
Move to approve resolution 2023-02 as stated within the packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Maragona, will you poll the council?
Yes.
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 All right, that passes unanimously. I agree with Mr. Brooks. That's going to be a great thing to have in place. We have a lot of people that want to still develop in Riverdale, and it's kind of come to a standstill. If you've kind of noticed, we were really going fast, but there hasn't been any new buildings come out. We've had some, renewals of buildings, but nothing new coming out of the ground. So this will be good. All right. Number 4, consideration and approval of resolution 2023-03, declaring property as surplus and authorizing sale or disposition of the same. Mr. Brooks.
We're just in that cyclical process of replacing a number of our vehicles. There'll be more forthcoming, but these were the closest ones we had. One's to replace Woody's. Woody's is already here. Randy's is close. Chief Brinkman's, did you get yours today? Okay. So his is ready to go. And then the fourth one is the heavy rescue, as I explained in the planning meeting there. The reason I even put that one on there is because when we pulled the title on that, we weren't even sure we had the title, but we did. We found it, and it's in Riverdale City's name. Before we can do anything with that, even though I don't think technically we own it, other than we own the title, I guess we could say we own it, but Weber County paid for that. So I wanted to make sure you guys were okay with this surplus, and then we'll work with the county and figure out what they want to do. Generally, that's pretty common practice amongst the fire units, is they'll help each other out. And so this will probably end up going to a smaller station or something that might be in need of something like this. So we'll deal with the county, but I had to make sure you guys were okay with us getting rid of it where it's in our name at this point. And then the other ones, we'll do our usual process as far as selling those back and hopefully recovering a lot of the costs on them. So any questions on any of those? And we have a number. I don't know how many more you got still. A good 6 or so.
We've got 4 in the police department, and then we've still got Randy's and Chief Shawley.
Yeah, so they'll be coming forth. We just weren't ready to go on all of them, but we knew we could move on some of them, so that's why we're there. And Shawley wants that rescue moved and out of there, so we needed to move on that one as well.
I always get excited when I see one of these declaring surplus property things because I want to see what the list is, if there's any like mountain bikes or guns or anything on there, but
Not this time.
it's just police cars
Might
this
want
time.
a
So.
fire truck.
Yeah, I guess it sounds like we're gonna have a fire truck for sale. So
Just question. How come we don't do this in the budgetary cycle when we know these are going to rotate out? Because like surplus things like Braden's talking about, that stuff that's impounded or whatever, and I can see that. I'm just curious why it's not just like we know it's going to happen. It's in the budget. The cycle goes. Why do we bring a different action in between each? Like this, these are coming up, and then the next 4 or whatever.
Sometimes
But we
it
know
doesn't
that.
happen.
What's that? They don't
Even though we budget for it, sometimes it doesn't happen just because there's not vehicles or other things that come up. And I guess you could technically hold on to it for a longer period of time as surplus, but we've always just tried to do them about the time that the vehicles were available.
And so they usually have that in their budget for that year when they know it's
no,
coming.
I'm saying it's already approved
just
in the
saying we
budget.
could-
And
we
I
could
wonder why it
surplus on
comes
it.
to the council to be surplus.
Oh, for a surplus?
Yeah. Well,
Just because we have a statute in our code that requires any property of value, substantial value, we have to surplus it. You guys have to sign off on that before we can do anything with it.
Sell it.
Yeah. So that's why we bring that in, just as a surplus. I mean, unless it's under $100, we have to get your okay on it. If it's $100 less than that, then the city administrator can sign off on it. But these obviously are a lot more than that. So
okay.
They probably explained to you the car thing is so strange right now. Like Woody's car, that's not the car he was supposed to get. We ordered it 8 months ago for him. We went down there and they said, sorry, you're not going to get it now. They happen to have a different vehicle that we were able to pick up. So, and these other ones, I'm not 100% sure we're going to get them or not. So it's just
Yeah,
kind
and
of crazy.
I'm not concerned about the cars and all that. It's just, it seems like an extra step that we didn't really need to do when we've already approved it in the budget.
No.
And we could surplus everything all at once. Like we probably should have put everything on this tonight because we'll have to come back probably in a month or so and surplus the rest of these vehicles because it doesn't, just because we surplus them doesn't mean we have to sell them. We can still retain them. So we could really do that at any time. But
Okay. Just
For
curious.
for those of you who don't know, Woody is back with us. I think I told you all that we'd lost him, and then he'd been gone for a couple of weeks and asked if we could have his job back, and we hadn't hired anybody, so it worked out really nice for us.
Wow.
We still had a car on order, so it worked out really well. So
Just to be added with that, the reason he's back is because one of the reasons he left is because he feels like we're really shorthanded here at Riverdale. But when he went to his other job, he was just as shorthanded there. So he was like, well, if I'm going to be shorthanded, I'd rather be where I'm,
It's a blessing.
appreciated and, comfortable and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it was a big deal for us, though. Roy City's been looking for 3 years, I think, now. So we were lucky to get him back when we did. We jumped on it immediately. So, and he does such a good job for us. So, and hopefully we'll get him some help here soon anyway to kind of lessen that burden a little bit. So.
Okay, Councilor Arnold.
the motion to approve resolution 2023-03 is stated within the packet.
Okay, we have a motion
Second?
and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Marigold, will you poll the council, please?
Yes.
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 All right, that passes unanimously. We'll now move on to item number 5, consideration of resolution 2023-04, approving a water supply agreement between Riverdale City and Shake Shack, Utah, LLC. Mr. Brooks.
Oops, sorry about that. This is the last one, certainly not the least, but it's actually our first one that we're bringing through this far along, where we actually sat down and crunched numbers. Shake Shack has been informed for a while, and then I let him know about early December. I said, if you want to get it at that price, you've got to have this to me like fast. And we didn't hear anything. I was getting really nervous, and that's why I talked to you guys that night, because then we started getting word through the grapevine that they were ready to pay on this. So I thought I was going to have to bring you in, and I mean, it's just been a mess. We're trying to juggle this and keep you informed and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, the bottom line is we got them to, they did make their payment. They have purchased their water, but the only way that they would do that under corporate is if they had a contract. So I had to hurry and get them a contract really fast. So they had it in their hands. They got it back to us. They sent us that payment that day. By a credit card, a $30,000 payment on their water allotment. So this is all part of our process that we're going to have to be jumping through now to obtain this water for these new developments. And this is the first one. It's the furthest one along. So it should conform with everything that you've had us do up to this point, and I think we're good. Sean's looked at it. I've looked at it. There's been a lot of eyes on this thing, including Shake Shack's attorneys and everybody else. So even though we missed a couple weird things in there, but we're okay on it. We may have to pay some money back, but that's okay. We got the higher amount. We're covered as far as what we needed. So any questions on that one?
Any questions or comments? Okay. Councilor Arnold.
Move to approve resolution 2023-04 is stated within the packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All right, Ms. Marigold, will you poll the council?
Yes.
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 Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 6, we're going to pull from the agenda tonight. We did not have everything in place to get that finished, and so we will bring that back on a future agenda. Let's see. Any comments from the city council for this meeting? Okay. Any comments from the city staff?
The only thing I would add, in addition to what I've already done, was that local officials' day is January 18th, and they have that scheduled for starting at 8 o'clock. If you want to go, make sure you let us know, and we'll get you signed up.
And I will be attending that, Mayor.
With the youth city council.
With the city council.
All right, very good. And that's a good lead in. I see Representative Lesser has joined us tonight, so we're excited about that. And so right after the meeting, I would invite you to go down and meet her. And we're excited that she took the time to come and meet with us tonight. I don't have any comments for this meeting, so with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion, a second, a couple of seconds on that one. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All right. We are adjourned.
It's a really quick meeting.
It was crazy quick for a full agenda.
I mean, it was a good
I know,
agenda.
yeah, it was a good agenda.